You care about effective ways to start your sermon because you believe in the message that you have to share. And before I share these 5 specific tactics that can help you craft a compelling introduction, I want to anchor them in 3 foundational principles. First, remember that your preaching isn't about you taking the stage, it's about you serving those listening. Second, your introduction is the bridge. It can be used to foster connection, spark interest, and to provoke engagement from those listening. And third, the introduction is where you lay out the why. In other words, giving your audience a reason to care about what you're saying. The goal of your introduction and starting your sermon is pretty simple: to ignite an immediate curiosity and to convince those listening that your sermon is worthwhile. So with that being said, let's get into the tips. First, lean into a tension. Jeff Henderson said that a tension creates attention. And what this means is highlighting a tension can immediately capture attention because it resonates within the innate human desire for resolution. Tensions challenge our comfort zones and piques curiosity. It also causes us to become a bit more introspective. One of the things that I love about the Bible is that it embraces tension. I mean, consider law versus grace, justice versus mercy, sovereignty versus responsibility or free will. Opening up dichotomies at the start of your sermon can be a fun and profound way to engage your listeners. In a way, tensions present this puzzle or an unresolved conflict that is compelling the listener to engage at a deeper level. They are anticipating what's next and seeking clarity and hoping for closure. In essence, where there's tension, there is an irresistible pull towards understanding and harmony. In her famous TED Talk, Nancy Duarte suggests that every great speech vacillates between 2 primary questions: what is and what can be. And going back and forth between these 2 questions creates a tension and a hope for something new, different, and better. It contrasts the current state of affairs with a potential future or an ideal, compelling listeners to bridge the gap between the 2. It presents both a challenge and an invitation, urging the audience to journey from the present reality to a transformative possibility. Hey, before we go on, are you a faith-based communicator striving to maximize your impact? Do you want to get the most out of every message that you share? Click the link in the description and sign up for my free content stacking strategy that is tailored for churches of any size to help you elevate your content and expand your reach. The second tip is to share a relevant story. As a communicator of God's word, you get to help people connect the dots between the truths of the Bible and everyday life. Jesus used examples and stories that were familiar to people to help them bridge this gap too. Think of all the times Jesus would introduce an idea or truth by starting with a story. The Good Samaritan, the prodigal son, the sower and the seed, and we could go on and on. At the heart of a compelling sermon lies personal connection. Stories can serve as a bridge between thought and emotion that helps individuals connect in both their heart and in their mind. However, good stories do more than just create a sense of connection. They build familiarity and trust and allow the listener to enter the story right where they are, making them more open to learning. Stories are effective ways to engage your audience around transformative ideas. And using stories can help people see how they can apply the truths of God's word in their own lives. The third way that you could start your sermon is to ask a thought-provoking question. The art of starting a sermon with a question is about stimulating thought, invoking introspection, and challenging existing beliefs. Jesus was a master of using questions to provoke this type of thought and to elicit engagement from those listening. One example, think of Matthew 16, verse 13. He asks the question, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" What an intriguing question. A carefully crafted question can serve as a catalyst, prompting individuals to confront their inner beliefs and convictions. Questions, especially when posed at the outset of a sermon, can set the tone for everything else that will follow. They can engage the cognitive aspects of the listener, making them active participants rather than just passive receivers. Questions, in some ways, pull the audience from a place of just absorbing to a place of reflecting and internalizing. The fourth way is to illuminate a problem. As a preacher or teacher, of course, you want to inspire others to change and increase their desire for God and His Word. And one of the struggles that you face is that most people are tired and in a hurry. They want the answers that will immediately help them. Every day, people pay for solutions to their problems, and people listen when they believe that others understand their problem. Identifying a problem that your sermon resolves will do at least two things between you and your audience. One, it will help you to be more empathetic towards them. And two, it will pique interest from them. When you address problems that the congregation is collectively facing or familiar with, it can foster a deep sense of community with everyone that is journeying together in search of these answers. The void between what people long for and what keeps them from getting it is the problem. Therefore, when you start your sermon, clarify this issue and express it. Then use your sermon to dig deeper into this problem by considering how this makes them feel and why it is wrong that this problem exists. By acknowledging the real challenges that people face, you demonstrate that you, and most importantly, God, understands and cares about their struggles, helping them better relate to your sermon. And the fifth way is humor. Humor is like a universal language. It can be an incredible way of breaking down defenses so that deeper truths can penetrate even the most guarded of hearts. Plus, people are more likely to remember and share stories that made them laugh. And, humor is not the end-all be-all. When you choose to use this way to start your sermon, ensure that the humor will relate or connect to your sermon in some way. It should feel like a natural part of your message, not just an add-on for humor's sake. Be sure that you know your audience. Be sensitive to cultural things, age, social differences that might affect how others receive the joke. It's essential to strike a balance to ensure that the humor serves the sermon's purpose and doesn't detract from it. When done right, humor can be a powerful tool for opening people's heart to receive difficult or challenging truths. Hey, keep in mind that these methods aren't merely just tactics or strategies for holding people's attention. They are avenues to open people's heart and mind to the truths of God's Word. And if you want more help with your preaching, watch this video about 7 preaching tips almost no one talks about, but will improve your next sermon.